This morning, a child is recovering after they were hit by a car while trying to get on the school bus in North Haven.
The penalties the driver is facing sparking a big conversation on social media and the police department. It happened near Pool Road and St. John Street, which is where we find your reporter, Anna Stansfield. So, Anna, how are families in town reacting?
Well, good morning. It's been quite the debate online. After this all happened yesterday morning, police posted on Facebook to let the community know what had happened and also explained that the driver involved had stayed on scene, cooperated with officers, and would be served with an infraction. Now, that penalty is where that heated debate really took off in the comments. About 150 comments were left on that first post. Lots of North Haven parents writing their concerns with the punishment facing the driver, saying they should be served with much more than an infraction for passing a stopped school bus and hitting a child. Just a few hours later, North Haven police put out a second post explaining the driver will also have their license taken away and asking for compassion. They wrote in part, quote, "The driver in this incident is an 89-year-old community member who, in addition to facing an infraction and seizure of their license, is now facing the weight of a traumatic event themselves. Accountability and compassion can exist at the same time." Now, those kinds of comments from a police department are not the kinds of things that we typically see every day. As for everything today, police really are just hoping that as people head out on their morning commute, they stay safe, stay slow, and of course, as you approach a school bus, always use caution. I'm your reporter live in North Haven, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.